They are some of the most intimidating names in professional bowling. Sean Rash, Chris Barnes, Wes Malott, and European Osku Palermaa. But the number one seed on the stepladder in this week's PBA Chameleon Championship hasn't won a major. In fact, he's never won on the tour at all. Can rookie Scott Norton really survive against some of the PBA's best?
The Chameleon Championship starts now.
Over 250 professional bowlers from 14 different countries, bowling on 5 different oil patterns, have invaded Las Vegas to be part of an event unlike any other in sports, the PBA World Series of Bowling. The World Series is the ultimate test for the greatest names in the game. 6 lumber liquidators PBA Tour titles on the line with a champion crowned each week. It all leads up to the main event, January's PBA World Championship, the first major of the season. It's the PBA versus the rest of the world. The World Series of Bowling continues right now.
We welcome you to Las Vegas for the third installment of the PBA season opening World Series of Bowling. Today, coming your way from South Point Casino and Hotel, it's 4 power righties and a newbie lefty in the Chameleon Championship. And glad you're spending part of your Sunday with us. Rob Stone joined by soon-to-be PBA Hall of Famer Randy Peterson. Kimberly Pressler will join us momentarily. Today's show kind of divided into 2 camps. Camp number 1 is full of big, burly, nasty throwing righties.
A lot of power. Sean Rash, Chris Barnes, Wes Malott, Osku Palermaa. Nothing but power on that side. This oil pattern really took a beating this week.
Now on the flip side, all those nasty guys are chasing one guy, today's lone lefty, Scott Norton. Bowling is in this guy's DNA, and you may be watching this year's PBA Rookie of the Year in action.
Great James, his mother Virginia is a Hall of Famer. Scott Norton looking to follow in her footsteps. Tall order, being on television for the first time. We've seen it before. How is he going to manage the nerves? Can he pull it off? Is he going to have a good enough look on the left side? He's the only guy that's out there, so it's going to be feast or famine for him.
Scott Norton in the number 1 slot. Here's Mike J with the introductions.
The number 4 player is a 4-time PBA Tour champion, including 1 major, from Wichita, Kansas, Sean Rash.
Well, we talked about there's kind of 2 camps to today's show, Randy. I think there's 2 Sean Rash camps as well. You love him or you hate him?
Well, then there's the one that shows up and is mistake-free, like he was early in his career, and then there's the one we've seen as of late, which had trouble making spares.
Kimberly will have more on that in a moment. Here's Rash to open us up. And a strong start from Sean Rash. Just for the record, I fall into the I like Sean Rash camp.
So do I.
I'm deep into it. And here's our number 5 seed.
The number 5 qualifier finished 5th in the 2004 U.S. Open at the age of 20, representing Finland, the Big O, Osku Palermaa.
Well, Jason Belmonte gets most of the two-handed attention, deservedly so, but this guy, when he is on with his two-handed style, it is just flat out fun to watch. And that's not just the trick shows either. It's a bad day to be a pin. A bad day to be a pin.
They'll have to be replaced after this show. This is a scary thing to watch if you're one of those 10 little white fellas down at the end of the lane, because there's a bowling ball coming at you really fast with an extremely high rev rate.
It's angry, too.
Bad intentions.
Osku goes one-handed for the spare conversion as we take a look at Osku's arsenal today.
Using the high road, which is kind of in the middle of the pack in terms of hook potential for what Osku brought with him. He doesn't need a lot of bowling ball. Again, when your rev rate is that high, you throw it that fast, and there's a lot of friction. You don't need a lot of bowling ball. And then sometimes you wonder when his ball hits the pins, how does any pin really have a chance of standing up? Really?
lot of dents out there in the pins. These things just come in nasty at you. And speaking of nasty, we still have the big nasty Wes Malott later in the show. Chris Barnes, your 3 seed, will take on the winner of this match. Here's Rash in the second, working on a strike.
Sean Rash is no stranger to power either, and he uses 2 fingers and a thumb. So, you know, you watch this swing here. It's a beautiful swing in line with the wrist cupped, and then just the full extension at the bottom of the swing, uncupping of the wrist, creating that forward end-over-end revolution. And he's got plenty of revs to back it up. Let's take a look at Sean Rash's arsenal. This is what he's going to be working with on today's Chameleon oil pattern, the Wicked Siege. I just like that name.
It's wicked awesome.
See, that's the hooking his ball he brought out with him. He can go all the way down to very little bowling ball in that avalanche slide.
Second strike of the afternoon for Sean Rash, and we bring in Kimberly Pressler now. And Kimberly, Sean has had some issues, particularly between the ears lately.
That's right, Rob. Well, Sean Rash is just 28 years old, but he's made his mark on the PBA Tour. He's confident and some would even say cocky player. He's got 4 titles, even a major to his name. But at last year's World Series, he made some critical mistakes in 2 of his television appearances.
Last year was, it was up and down. You know, it was definitely up and down, but I made 3 shows. My first match was against Ronnie Russell, and I thought I was shut out, and I shut out to spare, and I missed all 4 of them for 170.
He doesn't even need counting. Idiot.
Just lack of focus and just upset that I had made so many good shots in a row, and then I finally threw one bad, and I had to shoot right back up from bowl against Mike Devaney. The toughest thing was, you know, shooting spares on that show. If you feel frames in that tournament last year, you won the title. People don't realize how hard it really is out here. You know, spare shooting's premium.
It wasn't a split.
Last year definitely was humbling because it wasn't a great season because I didn't win. For 2 years in a row, I haven't won now. And it's frustrating. I mean, it really is. People think I'm cocky, and I consider it confidence. You know, I'm a confident person, and like I said before, I don't think I'm not going to win. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Sean telling me today he's learned a lot about last year, went back to the basics, and found out how good he was and how good he can be when he is mentally strong. And when we return, we'll tell you about the frantic last 24 hours in Sean's life. This is the PBA World Series of Bowling on ESPN. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by Barbazol. Start your day with Barbazol Shaving Cream, America's leader for a close, comfortable shave. Golden Corral, help yourself to happiness. The makers of One A Day Men's 50+ Advantage, the multivitamin with more of what matters. Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. Welcome back to Las Vegas and our continuing coverage of the Chameleon Championship. Time now for this week's edition of the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood.
Hey, Rob, you're probably wondering why I'm sitting on the left side of this Chameleon oil pattern. Well, it's because our tournament leader, Scott Norton, just happens to be left-handed. His first time ever on television. We'll see how he handles the nerves. For the righties, an overabundance of power with Sean Rash, Wes Malott, Chris Barnes, and Osku Palermaa. The Chameleon oil pattern at 39 feet hooked more than any other oil pattern at this year's World Series of Bowling. So what that means is, as the lanes start to break down, the right-handers were forced to weigh in. And once they ran out of lane, well, they had to resort to a little airtime. Osku, show them what I'm talking about. Don't be surprised if you see some balls getting some airtime today. All right, let's take a look at what happened while we were at break. Sean Rash, 4th frame, working on a strike. Bang! 10 in the pit. Now left lane, looking for a 3-bagger.
Be right.
It was right, Mr. Rash. Osku Palermaa, third frame, right lane. Looks pretty good. Right at the last second, drifts high. He leaves a poor pin. He would convert that. Now, fourth frame. Oh, a little light. 2-4-8. He would make that as well. Now, fifth frame, looking for a strike. Bang, 10 pin goes down late. Osku Palermaa looking for a double. A lot of power, a lot of revs. Nicely done. Sean Rash, however, looks like he's getting locked in.
Sean Rash working on a three-bagger. Lead is at 13 as he closes out the sixth. Rash, your 4 seed. Palermaa, your 5 seed. Rash 4 strikes today and a 9 spare in the second. Got ourselves a ham bone! And Sean looks in control of a lot of things, Randy. His emotions and his game right now.
You can tell that it's pretty obvious that he's got a different mindset right now, and obviously it's showing in the shot making that he's doing right now. I mean, striking the first, 10 pin the second, 4-bagger right after that. He's in complete control of his faculties, and he's locked in.
Nice use of faculties.
So it's either that or the
Stuff.
school one where you have a faculty at school.
Right. You see the great start he got on television, and since then, winless in the 7th. Great view as he drops the nickel. And a little fist pump there. Other than that, emotions in check. Coming up in a second, I have a little trick shot flashback for you, Randy, from that gentleman. Osku looking for 3 in a row here in the 7th. A little heavy.
Well, just a bad shot, missed inside, and luckily only leaving the 3-6. But when your opponent gets out to a quick lead like this and you have a chance to get back in it, you've got to make the shot. Osku did not pull it off.
So Osku cleans up the spare, and here is Osku on a shot that made him a worldwide video celebrity.
Never done this before, so we'll see
I
what
hope you
happens.
hit the chair.
I think we're talking about the trick shots. They had this stool behind it, so that'd be cool. It's the first time I ever tried with the chair on the lane. I knew if I hit the chair, it's just gonna be funny. I was terrified going to throw that shot, but it ended up being perfect. I was relieved and happy at the same time. Especially people who I don't know come to me and say, "Wow, that was a cool trick shot."
Close to 250,000 YouTube hits for that shot, and I sent you a link a couple days ago, right? About I think, what was the title? Something like "The Human is Awesome" or something like that, and had all these wonderful achievements that human beings have done, and there was Osku in the middle of it. But a frustrating opening match here for the young man from Finland. Non-exempt player, just 26 years old, from Espoo, Finland, about 100 miles from where our friend Mika Koivuniemi grew up. And an open frame. And the door opens that much wider for Sean Rash.
Boss.
5 in a row for Rash. Has been perfect since the 3rd frame.
Not a bad shot, keeping it in play, keeping the ball around the 1-3 pocket, leaving himself an easy spare conversion. and that's all you want to do. He is in the 230s right now. His opponent is maxed out at 212. All he wants to do is avoid open frames. Hey, Sean, Randy Peterson here. Tell me what's the difference between your mindset at this World Series and last year's World Series of bowling?
The mindset's the same. You show up to win. The biggest thing is just trying to get out of your own way. And, you know, it's been a good 2 weeks, and hopefully we can finish off today and tomorrow and coming back in January off the way I wanted to be here.
Thank you, Sean.
Talked about a busy 24 hours for that man. He bought a house yesterday in the Chicago suburbs and flew back late last night. Clears the rack. Goes Rash. January that Rash was talking about, the PBA World Championship, which will be held right here at South Point in Las Vegas, first major of the year. And here's Rash's effort in the 9th. His 7th strike. Palermaa in a big hole. That'll help him try and dig out of it. And Chris Barnes waiting in the wings. We saw last week Bill O'Neill win a title. Get the sense he and Chris Barnes kind of dueling for that best bowling talent out there right now.
Yeah, it's a good point, Rob. You're right, but the ones that are going to be remembered are the ones that win on television.
A la Walter Ray Williams Jr., your reigning PBA Player of the Year, oh, by the way. We have yet to see Walter on television yet this season. I'm pretty sure we'll see the gentleman at some point through the course of the season.
Never count him out.
We learned that last year.
Yeah.
So did a lot of people.
50 years old, he's Player of the Year. I mean, it's just unthinkable. But then again, it's Walter Ray Williams Jr.
3 in a row for the big Finn. Part 2.
Yeah, hey, don't take that away from me just yet, my friend. And right now, Osku, kind of like a mulligan, kind of like to start this match over, I think.
Osku, a rough frame 1 through 4. Had only 1 strike in there, and Osku done at a 2-11. Threw that one one-handed.
Yeah, a little showing you a little bit of his arsenal here. Look at this.
Is that arsenal or a little bit of anger?
I think he's just showing off there. That's pretty cool.
So Sean Rash with that 9 will move on to the 2nd round to take on Chris Barnes. No mental issues in match number 1 at all for Sean Rash.
Well, you know, you said his mindset was the same, but now it's just a matter of getting out of his own way. So his mental approach has got to be somewhat different than what it was last World Series.
This may be a test shot here for Sean.
Without question, he's trying a different bowling ball. Going to see what he can do and possibly move in and open him up a little bit more.
So Sean Rash moves on. Up next, your number 3 seed, Chris Barnes, and we'll hear from him next when our coverage of the World Series of Bowling's Cheetah Championship returns to Vegas. Welcome back to the South Point Bowling Center here in Las Vegas. Our continuing coverage of the PBA Chameleon Championship. 2 of the big wigs with the PBA, Fred Schreier and Tom Clark here in attendance. Taking this one in, and just near them, Chris Barnes, who's set to take the lanes as we take a look at our updated Stepladder graphic Sean RASH, a 25-pin victory over Osku Palermaa. Up next for him, former Player of the Year and former Rookie of the Year, Chris Barnes, and Kimberly standing by with Chris.
Chris, over the summer, did you make any changes to your game that has allotted you to do so well on the chameleon pattern this week?
Well, actually, I made one change. It's been harder and harder to keep up with the Tommy Joneses and the Bill O'Neills of the world, and my rev rate's not quite as high. So I worked on a hand position change that when I played inside and got through qualifying and the match play rounds to get there, that's what I had to use. Came out to be a pretty good thing. But today I'm probably not going to use that. I'm going to stay to the right, throw an outburst pretty close to the gutter.
All right. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
It was interesting talking to Chris about that change of hand position today, admitting that, he needs something else, something different to help compete against some of these guys out here now.
Yeah.
It always seemed like the guys were trying to catch up to him.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
I think the only weakness in Chris Barnes' game has been the lack of axis rotation or side roll. He's always been a real forward end-over-end rolling kind of guy. And, if Chris Barnes is able to add a new arsenal to his game, look out.
Start strong.
Sean looks good. He looks in control and looks like he's got his wits about him. But let's see if he's tested what kind of Maple Moxie shows up.
The number 3 qualifier owns 12 PBA Tour titles, including 2 majors. Former PBA Player of the Year from WSOB, Texas, Chris Barnes.
2 majors, and those 12 titles won, the 05 U.S. Open and the 06 Tournament of Champions. Had 3 second place and 1 fourth place finish last season. Called it disappointing. Poor start at the World Series of Bowling got him off to a slow start last year.
Chris really struggled because of his very heavy end-over-end roll and the high friction lane surface that they bowled on last year in Detroit. So once he made it to the match play portion, they moved over to the arena setting at Thunder Bowl, and that's a little older synthetic in that part of the house, and he struggled because of that real heavy roll. He's not going with pure physics today, no sir, but be prepared for an outburst.
Consider myself prepared.
And I got to tell you right off the bat, I'm certainly no Chris Barnes, but I don't think that he has any chance when he's going that straight and he's throwing his bowling ball. If it misses just a hair left, he throws it right into the dry area that the other players are using. In other words, players try to find area left and right of target. Okay, Rob? We know that Sean RASH and Osku Palermaa played left of where Chris Barnes is playing, which means that if Chris misses left of target, his ball's going to hit the dry part of the lane that is Sean RASH's hook area.
RASH made 3 shows last season, finished 3rd twice and 4th once. His last win on TV came when he won the title match of the 07 USBC Masters.
Another good one.
So strike 9 spare for RASH. We're through 2, and Sean on top by 2. Barnes has gone 9 spare, 8 spare. Rash, strike, spare, strike. His battle with Barnes continues when we return to Las Vegas. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, and Kimberly Pressler welcoming you back to our continuing coverage of the World Series of Bowling, PBA Chameleon Championship. Randy, while we were gone, things have gone from bad to worse for Chris Barnes.
Well, and again, it's mind-boggling to me that he's trying to go that straight. He leaves the big four. Here comes Sean Rash. Remember last year's World Series of Bowling, how he was missing spares, although I think that's due to a really bad thumb. Chris makes a ball change, flags the head pin from out, and then went to shoot the 1, 2, 4, 7, and with that. Bizarre.
Yeah, 22-pin lead for Sean Rash. And it's his right thumb that is bothering him. He came back with a strike after he whiffed on that 10-pin, but kind of the webbing area between the thumb and the finger really torn up and ripped up. And saw a picture of it taken a day or so ago just before the telecast, and I didn't even know what I was looking at. It was that ugly. Yeah, late kick. But that's something the bowlers deal with week in and week out, Randy.
I mean, you know, there's going to be cuts on fingers and thumbs. Some spots more painful than others. The webbing, not real good. The base of the thumb, where all the weight of the bowling ball sits, not real good. Everything else, you know, the bowlers can tolerate. But, you know, like my coach Fred Borden used to say, spit on it and throw strikes.
Take a tough pill. Sean Rash with his first pair of strikes here in match number 2, seeking his 5th strike of the match.
One more shot, come on.
He's got it. Not letting go of the gas is Sean Rash. The lead explodes to 42.
Well, he's been making great shots all day. He did it in his first match against Osku Palermaa. He's doing it right here against Chris Barnes. The only issue, the missed 10-pin in the 4th frame.
How's this for scary? Chris Barnes without a strike thus far. And that ugliness continues.
Well, we saw Chris Barnes when he first started. He's trying to play this angle right there. That's no good. Now, through 6 frames, he doesn't have a strike, so he moves in and tries to do that. And that actually looked like it had a better chance. But, you know, the thing he talked about in the interview with Kimberly, in the change of the hand position and trying to create some more side rotation, more revolutions to keep up with the Sean Rashes and the Tommy Joneses and the Wes Malotts and the two-handers like Jason Belmonte and Osku. And that's exactly what got him to this telecast. And yet he abandons it today. He must have seen something that he didn't like.
2 open frames, 5 spares, and mercifully, finally, a strike for one of the greats of the game. A bizarro outing for Chris Barnes. Take a look at the rest of the top 16 this week at the Chameleon Championship. Jason Belmonte finishing 6th. There's Tom Smallwood at 8. Good to see Danny Wiseman back up there. Billy O'Neill, who won last week, at 10. Rash, another strike.
Everybody's friend Tony Reyes in 12.
So a 4-bagger there for Rash as he continues to pull away from Barnes.
Gosh darn.
Fill frames and give himself a chance. It's kind of the mantra that Sean Rash came in with today and really came into this whole World Series of Bowling, and he's doing just that today. Just one open frame. That came in the 4th when he flagged the 10-pin. And Sean takes care of that one. Sean, we were just talking about the thumb. How is it feeling right now?
It's going to feel real good Sunday night. Right now, I don't care. Can't feel it.
Reason number 403 why I like Sean Rash.
Sounds like he took that tough pill you were talking about.
They're good. They're hard to find, but they're good. And 2 in a row for Barnes, but too little, too late.
And again, I'd never second guess a great player like Chris Barnes, but you really have to ask yourself, with the inside area of play being so predominant on this Chameleon Championship, why he chose to try to play away from everybody else. And I think I know why. I think he was trying to find, you know, his own niche and just beat everybody out and to the right of everybody else and stay away from the big inside trap, but it just wasn't there today.
Next week, serious international affair will come your way on the Scorpion Championship. Canadian, 2 South Koreans. Jason Belmonte is there. Your lone American in the field, Bill O'Neill, who won last week. The Scorpion Championship coming your way next Sunday, 1 o'clock right here on ESPN. One of the driving points about the World Series of Bowling, getting that international feel and flavor here. We certainly have had that thus far. Sean Rash has already advanced, and he'll take on Wes Malott. Chris Barnes finishing fairly strong, but what a slow jump out of the gate for Barnes, who closes with a 175. Another strike for Sean Rash, and Rash will move on to take on your 2 seed, Wes Malott, one of those days for Chris Barnes. The top 8 players after 60 games of qualifying in the World Series of Bowling will qualify for the TV finals of the PBA World Championship, which takes place January 14th through the 16th right here at the South Point Bowling Center in Las Vegas. Bill O'Neill, who just happens to be the defending Chameleon Championship, sits on top. Sean Rash, who just moved on with that victory over Chris Barnes, sits in 2nd, and Wes Malott, who's on deck, sits in 8th. So this is the World Series of Bowling on ESPN. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. The makers of Bear Aspirin, Bear. Pepsi, the official soft drink of bowling. And by Track, evolutionary, revolutionary. We welcome you back to Las Vegas, and Sean Rash continues to move on a 52-pin victory over Chris Barnes, the Chameleon Championship, one of just 5 of the animal pattern oil events that are part of this World Series of Bowling. And for more, here's my friend and partner, Randall Peterson.
Well, we're currently here in Vegas for this World Series of Bowling, but coming up in just 6 short weeks, we'll be back in Sin City for the PBA Tour's signature event, the Tournament of Champions. The legendary competition now carries a $1 million prize fund, making it the richest bowling tournament in history. But there are some other changes to the TSC besides the purse increase. Most notably is that any PBA member who has ever won a PBA title of any kind is eligible to enter. So a bowler who has won a national, regional, senior, or a women's series title can try their luck, just like last year's winner, Kelly Kulick. For more information, head on over to PBA.com, and if you don't end up bowling the TSC, make sure you watch it on ABC Saturday, January 22nd.
And up next, the Texas Tornado, the Austin Assassin, the Big Nasty. Wes Malott takes to the wood. Pins are shaking as we speak.
Welcome back to the World Series of Bowling from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. Now, when you go to your neighborhood bowling center, you might rent some of these. They're not very versatile or stylish. They've got leather soles and rubber heels, and that is just not okay for our pros. They might actually choose one of these. As you can see, they are very easily adjustable on their heels and on their soles, depending on the player's preference, and that will help achieve the best slide no matter what the conditions. Hey, can I get these in pink?
Randy, here's my guess. Kimberly's husband just saw that and is saying the last thing that woman needs, more shoes.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it was my missus, that's what I'd be saying.
Help.
There is Wes Malott, the big nasty, starting strong with the strike. So Malott, the 2 seat, electing to bat leadoff. Here's Sean Rash, your 4 seat, took care of Chris Barnes in the last match. 227, 175. Before that, it was Osku Palermaa dropping 236, 211.
Players are migrating towards the center of the lane. As the lanes break down, look for the players to move that way right there. And Sean Rash will be making another move.
So Rash with a spare there in the first. And a young man from Wichita who just bought a house yesterday in suburban Chicago gets set for the second frame. Messenger, yeah!
Boy, and that pin just barely snuck underneath the pin setter, because even if it's on its way down, if the pin setter touches any part of that pin, it'll have to be reset. But check this out, head pin sidewall, here it comes. It's looking for the 10. Oh, what a great shot. Watch this. Come on now. Oh, yeah, just snuck underneath it.
Woo, nasty, way right here in the second.
Wes will immediately go to tape. Anytime you see Wes lose one off his hand, he's going to the tape bag. He let go of that and he was like,
I'm out of here, yeah.
Yeah, I'll see you. Just stay on the lane and knock something down, please.
I'll see you at the tape station. And a little doctoring by Wes Malott, who does this a lot. He also does that a lot. Takes the brush to the shoe, messes with the thumb. He has his routine.
He's got his routine, man.
And he sticks with it.
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to tell him to change the routine. Are you?
Not if you're smart.
No, are you kidding me? 6'5", 250. You do whatever you want, nasty. Ooh! Let's remember that one. Open frame in the second. And in a quick 12-pin hole.
Well, this ball's going to hook way too much down lane, and it's actually going to hit the head pin and deflect and go right by the 8.
So the 2009 PBA Player of the Year.
Last year is over with.
Trying to put last season behind him, as he just said. Steps up here in the third. Drops them all last season. Malott made 5 TV shows. Did not have a victory in either of them. When we come back, we talk woodworking with Wes. Maybe he and Norm Duke should start a contracting biz together, Randy. Thought about it?
Good idea.
Thank you.
a look at what happened while we were gone. Wes Malott working on a strike, gets up in the fourth, doubles up. Now left lane, fifth frame, looking to keep the string alive. That's pretty, isn't it? Sean Rash working on a strike here in the third frame. Look how much farther towards the center part of the lane he's moved. There's a beautiful shot there. Now fourth frame, looking for 3 in a row. Yeah, one time, make it 3 times for a 3-bagger. Now fifth frame. How about a 4-bagger? 6th frame, left lane, can he keep the streak going? Oh man, good shot, but he leaves the 10-pin and he would convert. Wes Malott trailing by 21. He is working on a 3-bagger. Let's see if he can overcome that open frame in the second. All right, let's take a look at Wes Malott's arsenal. Today he decides to go with the Nomad Pearl. Notice how it's not the strongest of the 4 bowling balls he's brought down to this TV pair of lanes. And that's a very common occurrence when the oil pattern starts to break down, the players start to move more towards the center part of the lane. You'll start to see them go to less aggressive equipment.
So Malott 4 strikes through 5 frames, but again, if we reflect back on that second frame, which he left open. There's a good look at the big nasty, looking for a ham bone here in the 6th.
Come on. Go ahead, say it. Say it.
4-bagger!
Say it!
So Malott drops 4 in a row, and here is more from Wes on his compulsive work in the wood shop.
The biggest thing that people probably don't realize is, for instance, my pro shops. Before I came out on tour, I actually trimmed houses and did all the, the critical stuff that people really see that brings the house out with all the trim work and stuff. I've remodeled the pro shops all to myself. I've got it all. I've got, the miter saw, the table saws, the drills, the jigsaws, you name it, I've got it. I take pride in everything I do, and that's why I critique myself as much as I do out here, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm fairly successful. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm critiquing it and trying to make perfection out of anything I do. I've probably got a little OCD a little bit. Never been diagnosed, but I'm sure it's there. I don't know how long I'm going to get to bowl, and that's part of the reason why I'm kind of getting the pro shop started a little bit and kind of also giving back to the community what's given, to me in the sport.
And we are back, set to kick off the 7th. Malott down 11. The nasty is not going to get that one to drop.
And that would have been the turning point of this match. Wes Malott looking to take control of this match, looking for 5 in a row. Oh, where's the trip 4 when you need it?
Oh, gravity worked hard there.
It's those new pins and those flat bottoms.
There was no way I was shooting that straight after taking myself out earlier in the week. Come on.
So Rash has gone spare, and then 4 strikes in a row, and then a spare in the 6th. Here's his effort in the bottom of the 7th, clinging to a 12-pin lead.
Yeah, baby.
Gets them all to drop.
Come on.
Well, Sean, you saw Wes make that move with a 4-bagger in frames 3 through 6. What did that do to your outlook on this match?
I'm not watching him. It's about me right now. I can't control what he's doing. I'm just going to make good shot. That's all you can do.
That is the new version of Sean Rash upstairs.
It's the no nonsense.
I like it.
All business.
And business is good right now. Looking for a double here in the 8th.
Great shot, bad break.
Shot. Great shot, Sean.
There you go, a little self-help pep talk from Sean.
There's that rotation, that bent elbow and cupped wrist at the bottom, and then watch 3 or 4 pins go right by the 7. Unlucky.
There's a punished pin. So the 3rd spare of the match for Rash.
Great shot. Another great shot.
Lead down to 12. West can max out at a 247. Rash a 249. That's assuming they both strike out.
Wes Malott needs to strike out, in my opinion, and have a chance to win this, because he needs to put pressure on Sean Rash. Sean has had it in pretty much on cruise control for the entire day.
Strike number 6. And match number 3 for Wes Malott.
And how huge is that missed spare in the 2nd frame looming right now?
That is the difference maker.
There's a former player of the year at arm swing and ball reaction, and remember him at the King of Bowling and what he did there with a couple of 300 games. It was such a dominant year.
What a great run that was. It's just enjoyable to be a part of, but then you go back to last season, he did not win a title for the first time since the 04-05 season, and he admitted, you know what, some of my focus was taken away from bowling. He opened up a pro bowling shop called Strike A Lot. He's opening up another one in South Austin right now, and he said, you know what, I took too much time away from my game, and I needed to bring it back and focus on what I do out here.
Make it good. Make it good. That's all you can do. Getting it into the swing a little too quick again.
And by doing that, getting the ball into the swing a little too early, 9 times out of 10 will cause you to pull it or miss left of target for a right-hander. Again, another 4-pin on the left lane, and it couldn't have come at a worse time for Wes Malott. It's a little scary for me that the big hook ball at the single pin spares.
I'll put him on that one.
I know I don't sit comfortably watching it.
Sean Rash can go strike, spare, strike, 9th and 10th frame, and lock out Wes Malott.
Strike number 6 of match number 3 for Rash. Your number 1 seed and the lone lefty, Scott Norton, waiting in the wings. That lone lefty phrase, very important. With the 4 guys who've been throwing hard from the right side, that left side of the oil is just sitting there nice and clean for Mr. Norton.
Well, you know, so far so good in terms of the oil pattern holding up.
Not a good frame.
The right-handers have not moved far enough left. They're not running in to the left gutter cap. There's Sean Rash's mom, Diane. So there's still plenty of room out there for either Wes Malott or Sean Rash, whoever advances to the title, to face Scott Norton. But all week long, what we saw at this Chameleon Championship were players lofting it halfway down the lane, especially later on in the qualifying and match play blocks.
Messenger drops the 10, a big strike for Rash. Messenger's been busy for Mr. Rash today.
I mean, that's pretty much all she wrote. That puts Sean Rash in the 230s. All he has to do is keep it on the lane, and he is going to bowl for the title. Love that look. Here it comes. Get out of my way, 10-10.
And that is all over but the shouting. Diane will see her baby boy bowl for the title match next versus Scott Norton. Wes Malott, one and done here for the 2 seed.
Missed spare and 2 4-pins on the left lane was the undoing for Wes Malott. Sean Rash made a bunch of great shots and kept the ball in play.
test shot there from Sean Rash. He's in the books with a 235, but more importantly, he advances to the title match to take on Scott Norton. You will see it in its entirety, commercial-free, when we return. We welcome you back to the title match of the PBA Chameleon Championship. As the World Series of Bowling rolls on, there's your #1 seed, the lone lefty today, Scott Norton, the native of Costa Mesa, California in Orange County, making his first television appearance. Time now for our Geico Championship recap. Randall.
All right, here we go, Rob. Match #1, Sean Rash taking on Osku Palermaa. Big strike in the 9th frame. Sean Rash seals the deal, 236 to 211. Then in match #2, Rash takes on the great Chris Barnes. Nice trip 4 right there. Crushes Barnes by the score of 227-175. Then in our last match, Sean Rash takes on the big nasty Wes Malott. Big shot right there in the 10th frame to lock it up. He beats Wes Malott 235-217.
Wonderful work, as always, Randy. Time now for the introduction of our #1 seed, Scott Norton.
The tournament leader charged from 13th to 1st during match play. From Costa Mesa, California, Scott Norton.
A practicing attorney who's in his first year out of law school, the only practicing attorney on tour. And the only lefty on today's telecast. Your #1 seed, the 28-year-old Scott Norton. 0 PBA Tour titles. This his first role on national TV. Oh, and it looks good!
Says he's modeled his game after Parker Bone III, with the exception of his timing's about a step later. Beautiful balance at the foul line. Watch the left leg extend to the right. There's balance on the floor, follow through straight up. And what a great shot to start.
A great start. Sit down, calm those nerves. First ball is
Breathe.
a strike.
Breathe.
Yeah, breathe. Remind yourself to breathe. Sean Rash, here's your 4 seed who's just motored through the tournament thus far.
I don't think he's been an underdog in any match either until this one.
You consider him an underdog right now just because of the fact that this is the only lefty and the oil's fresh?
No, crowd support.
Oh, good start.
All right.
The crowd is behind Scott Norton. He's got more support than Sean Rash. Sean Rash is not the favorite in this match in the crowd's eyes. He's the favorite in my eyes because he's the one with all of the experience. Scott Norton, no experience. Advantage, Sean Rash.
But he has plenty of experience in his bowling DNA, does Norton? Rash. Messenger misses the 10.
You know, and here's the thing. If you're Sean Rash, you want to bowl someone like Scott Norton or an Andres Gomez for the title.
Gomez was the #1 seed last week, falling to Bill O'Neill in his first television appearance. That's Gomez we're talking about.
And it's all about experience. It's got nothing to do with their abilities. This is a different animal, though. TV day is a completely different animal.
Rash takes care of the 10-pin, and there is Scott Norton. Does general litigation at his own firm, the law offices of Scott Norton, as we take a look at Scott's non-legal arsenal.
Non-legal arsenal?
I don't know, it's transitioning off the whole lawyer
Mutant
thing.
Cell is his ball of choice right now.
2 for 2 for the Rook.
No, I mean, he can't just step out here and as the #1 seed and make shots that good, can he?
Why not?
Because it's not supposed to happen.
I've always bowled. I mean, since I can remember. I think I bowled when I was 4, and my mom, Virginia Norton, is a Hall of Famer, both professionally and USBC. So it didn't hurt to have that growing up as my coach. The first thing she ever taught me when I was 4 was I was not allowed to use the bumpers. I had to learn how to bowl properly, and then once I learned how to bowl properly, she kind of left me to do my own thing until I came to her for help. So she never pushed me. I would say it wasn't until I was about 13 that I finally decided I wanted to get serious. Also, I finished my law degree. It was actually about a month after I found out I passed the bar that I won my exemption out on tour. So it was a good month. I wanted to have something that I could do, that I would like, and that would actually make an impact and help people. So that's kind of my way of trying to help out and make the world a better place. Of all the sports I've played, it's the one I love the most. I grew up getting to watch my mom bowl on TV, make her living doing what she loved, and I loved doing it. And it's definitely my passion.
He jumped from 31st in round 1 to 13th in round 2 and then to number 1 after match play. Make it a triple.
It's all about the DNA, is it not, Rob?
There is Rick, and there's Virginia. You can see her just over Scott's shoulder. Pretty good start on national television, would you say?
Yeah.
3 for 3.
And guess what Sean Rash is feeling right now for the first time?
A smidge of pressure. What pressure?
He's seasoned, he's a winner, he's won a major. Kid knows how to bowl, he's refocused. Sean Rash has looked extremely sharp all day.
He still has that playful side. He's still a kid out there. He's still joking with you. He was having fun with us during our on-camera that didn't make air, but mentally, between the ears, above the shoulders, really seems dialed in right now.
Yeah, he was having lots of fun before the lights came on. When the lights came on, it's been nothing but solid business ever since. And right now, he knows that the last thing he needs to do is let his opponent get comfortable.
Rash's last title, October 28th, 2007. It came at the USBC Masters in Milwaukee. We begin the 4th. Misses the head pin and a rough leave here. The worst leave we've seen all day for Rash.
Pretty good. Gosh darn it.
Well, this will challenge his mental makeup.
We have not seen Sean Rash miss the head pin the entire day.
Big pickup!
Come on.
It's part of that mental moxie we've been talking about all afternoon.
Good shots, would you?
Well, couldn't draw it up any more perfect than that. Sean Rash keeps himself clean with the conversion of the washout. Now Scott Norton looking to go for bagger.
Hambone for the rookie lefty. Here's the more of what matters to you fan question brought to you by the makers of One A Day. Randy, we saw many players suffering through injuries here at the World Series of Bowling. Do you think tournaments should scale back the number of games played to avoid player injuries? That comes from Mike in Sarasota, Florida.
Absolutely, absolutely not, Mike. Players need to get in better shape, and we've seen, and it's been proven time and time again, the more games players bowl out here, the more the cream rises to the top. Hey, that thumb is part of the game.
Perfection through 5.
All right, so he makes his first ever telecast. He leads the tournament, and he bowls 300 to win.
Way to jinx him, Randy.
I was just throwing it out there.
Talk about a memory that would never leave one's conscience.
Oh, my.
Here's Rash down 40 in the 5th. Strike spare, strike spare, strike. That has been Rash's game here in the title match. The two-time All-American from Wichita State University. Your number 4 seed took care of Osku Palermaa in match 1. Took down former player of the year Chris Barnes in match 2. Took down another former player of the year in Wes Malott in our last match by 18 pins. And here he is getting his first test of the day from a rookie who's never been on television before. Scott Norton sitting with the lead. Back-to-back jacks for Rash.
All right, well, that puts
A lot of game left.
That puts Sean in the 2-0s. Scott Norton getting up to bowl the 6th frame. He's in the 230s right now. And can increase a 30-pin lead to 40 with another strike here in the 6th.
Norton, the only lefty to make match play, meaning the top 16 in this event. He's had that side all to himself for a long time now. Six-pack, please.
Absolutely incredible. I got to be honest with you. I haven't seen Scott bowl a lot. I know that he's a good player, and I know he's got a lot of talent. But I had no idea he had this kind of moxie.
Join the liveliest community of bowlers on the web at the PBA Facebook fan page. Get behind-the-scenes photos, live commentary from the tour. In addition, you can win exclusive prizes. Head on over to PBA.com, find the link to the PBA fan page. Mom and Dad watch as Norton tries to go 7 for 7. Oh, yeah! Spun that one to the turf.
What a performance.
Perfection through 7. Trying not to smile too much, and it's got to be tough.
Well, you know, you had to figure if this kid can get through law school, he's got to have a pretty good coconut, you know? And, man, it's just amazing how he can keep his wits about him and this kind of pressure is going on.
Do not count out Sean Rash. Now you may start thinking about it. Leaves the big 4.
That sucked.
Sean saving his worst shots for the title.
This ball is going to go sideways right there.
And an open frame in the 7th. The lead at 68. The bigger story is the rookie has been perfect thus far. It has only happened 20 times on television. The last to do it was another lefty, Rhino Page, April of last year in Japan. Here's Rash in the 8th.
All right.
Wheels on the bus.
Yeah, so now the game plan is, okay, let's throw it down there really fast, get out of the way, give Scott Norton a chance to get up and bowl 300. It's that simple. Pick up a ball, throw it, get out of the way. This match is all but over. Mathematically, all we're waiting for is for Scott Norton to bowl 300 and win his first title.
Let's not drag
Come on, keep it going.
this down. Sean Rash had a wonderful tournament.
He had a nice run.
A great run till here.
Tough Chameleon Championship oil pattern. Any 300s this week, Rob?
0.
You may see the first one. You may see your first one right here, buddy.
8 in a row. The season opening telecast, we had 12 leading up to that at the Cheetah Championship, which was won by Eugene McCune. Last week, the Pepsi Viper, claimed by Bill O'Neill. And here is the rookie, Scott Norton, in his first televised appearance. A perfect game through 8 frames. He didn't like it. All good things must come to an end, but what a run, what a start for Norton.
Incredible run. And make no mistake about it, this kid can bowl. He won his earned his exemption rather by winning the Regional Players Invitational earlier in the year. So this guy can bowl. He's got some great DNA. Mom, Virginia, PWBA, USBC Hall of Famer. This kid starts with the front 8. His first time ever on television, and just a little tug right there.
Norton, the 2009 PBA West Region Rookie of the Year, graduate of the University of California Hastings College of Law, and he's going to have something to put up next to that law degree. It's going to be a Chameleon Championship award.
Well, you know what he said? He said, you know, I know it's my first show, but I'm just going to go out and make sure that I execute, and I love pressure. I'm looking forward to the pressure.
Pressure is taking a bar. Pressure is passing the bar. Pressure is waiting for the bar results to come in. He was telling us the other day there was an online countdown clock to when all the law school board exams would be released, and you find out if you passed or failed. You're just sitting there watching the clock, and now you get the sense emotions maybe starting to take a hold of Scott Norton as he realizes he's just won his first ever PBA Tour title. As Sean Rash alerts the casino that he will be on his way down momentarily.
They actually have a car waiting for him to take him to the crap table.
I think the escalator has been greased up, and it'll just slide him right on down there.
Nice run today for Sean Rash.
Up from the 4th seed spot, makes it to the title game, and then just ran into a buzzsaw. Leaves the 7.
First time on television, a spare gives him 260. Not bad. It's kind of hard to beat 260. Okay, 250.
That's fine. He doesn't care.
No.
He just doesn't care, and that's fine. Get it over with so I can get a hug, I can get a check, I can get a standing ovation, and I can get a trophy. And a big emotional win for Scott Norton. And there is Mom Virginia. Dad Rick. Friends. And big congratulations, Scott Norton.
Good job, dude.
Howdy, man. Way to hang with it.
And try to ride it up a little bit better, could you? I mean, the only way it could get better is if it was a 300 game. And remember, he was perfect through 8. Scott Norton, a 256 and his first ever PBA Tour title. We'll hear from the winner when we return. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by USBC and its 2 million members. To find out more about USBC, log on to bowl.com today. Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. We welcome you back to Las Vegas, where rookie Scott Norton has just won his first ever PBA Tour title. He's standing by laneside with Kimberly.
So, Scott, did you ever think in your wildest dreams that your win would be like this?
No, I was just coming out here hoping to execute, hoping to throw good shots. And really, I was unconscious for half that match. I don't remember half of it, but I'll say that it's really great to have won in that fashion. It's really great to win no matter what. And Sean's such a great competitor. And the whole field today was so wonderful. And it was just such an honor to even compete out here with them, much less win.
And Virginia, you have been in his shoes before. You've competed. You've won. What was this victory like for you?
Nerve-wracking. Actually, it's tougher to sit on the sideline because you have absolutely no control. And he's been a great competitor for years. This probably is one of the biggest culminations of all of his hard work.
Well, congratulations to you on your first ever PBA Tour win.
Thank you.
Last year, amateur Brian Zizek won an event in his first televised appearance. Here's Scott Norton duplicating that feat. What impressed you the most about Scott's performance today?
Just being able to have the wherewithal and the moxie to step up and start with the front 8 strikes. I mean, that just doesn't happen. We've seen players like, for example, Bill O'Neill, who's now one of the best players on tour, if not the best player, go through that maturation process of, you know, the first couple of times you battle the nerves, and then you start getting a little bit more acclimated, and then you start to win. You don't see a first-timer or a rookie lead a tournament and then just step up and throw an 8-bagger and shoot 250. I mean, it should have been 260. He threw the spare weight. Didn't matter. Match was over. He won his first title.
You also don't see too many lawyers winning on the PBA Tour. So we have a rookie, we have a lawyer, and his first televised appearance of Scott Norton. What a wonderful victory it was today. You mentioned Bill O'Neill. Bill O'Neill will be in action next week when the PBA stays right here in Las Vegas. It's the Scorpion Championship. You can see it on ESPN at 1 Eastern. A huge international affair with that one. And O'Neill's buddy Jason Belmonte will be there in action as well. Scott Norton wins his first Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title in dramatic fashion here in Las Vegas. For Kimberly, Randy, and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Scott Norton gets career title #1.
For your mom.